All right, hear me out on this one. What if I told you that saving $10,000 could be the ultimate turning point for your finances? I know it sounds a little out there, but let me break it down for you. Hitting that $10,000 milestone is more than just this number in your bank account. It's proof that you can save money. It's that moment when you see five figures sitting there and something just clicks in your brain. For a lot of us, saving $10,000 for the first time feels very much impossible. Like, how am I supposed to do that and still live my life? But once you get there, it's like a supercharger for your mindset. You realize, wait, I can actually live below my means. And from there, it's just a matter of rinse, repeat, and stacking up those wins to keep building that $10,000, potentially even to $100,000, or even shooting for the stars, becoming priceless, $1 million. Here's the thing though, we all have our own relationships with money, and let's be real, most of us don't have the healthiest ones. For a lot of people, money feels stressful, confusing, even taboo to talk about, quite honestly. And get this, 71% of Americans report having $5,000 or less in savings, with 41% saying they have less than $500. And on top of that, money remains a taboo topic, like I mentioned, and nearly 30% of adults feel uncomfortable discussing their financial situations, according to upgradedpoints.com. These numbers are eye-opening and show how widespread financial challenges are. But honestly, it's really not our fault up until a certain age. We aren't taught about money management in school, personal finances. This is my entire reasoning for starting this channel. And much of the information out there feels complicated or inaccessible or just not speaking to you. It's time to break that cycle, though, of this financial illiteracy and take control of our financial futures, or what I like to say, end the silent pandemic of financial illiteracy so that we can take control of our financial futures. That $10,000 financial cushion doesn't just give you financial security, it keeps you away from that oh shit moment. Think about it. Without savings, every unexpected emergency, like a car breakdown, a medical issue, or any random expense, can feel like a massive crisis. And suddenly you're faced with two options: either drain what little you have or take on debt to cover it. And this can trap you in a very vicious cycle, living paycheck to paycheck, juggling bills, never being able to get ahead because new expenses keep piling up. But when you got $10,000 saved, those emergencies don't have to derail your entire life. You're no longer at risk of spiraling into debt over a flat tire or a doctor's visit. Sure, it's frustrating, I get it, when unexpected costs do come up, but it's no longer a life-altering stress. That $10,000 acts like a buffer, giving you peace of mind, knowing you can handle the unexpected without falling into this financial hole. It's the difference between months and stress and simply moving forward. And while emergencies still suck, having that cushion means you're prepared to handle them, and that's life-changing. The next thing that happens when you hit $10,000 in savings is a shift in your mindset. You start moving from can I afford this to should I afford this? When you're in a paycheck to paycheck cycle, most financial decisions revolve around whether you can scrape together the money for something: cars, clothes, shoes, whatever it may be. The primary question is, can I afford this? And often the decision is made solely on whether it's actually possible to stretch your finances to make it happen. But once you've actually built that financial cushion, your mindset drastically evolves. Now the question shifts to, should I spend this money? That subtle but powerful change is what sets you up to really build wealth and get rich instead of constantly spending on the next shiny object. It's about valuing if one purchase aligns with your long-term goals, not just whether it's within your immediate reach. So for example, even though I could afford to buy a new car, the more important question is should I? And the answer for me currently right now is I create this video. No. My current car works perfectly a-okay, and buying a brand new one right off the lot probably wouldn't be a smart financial move for me when that money could be put towards investments or other priorities. And especially right now, as I'm only 24 filming this, going towards investments will make me several $100,000 by the time I'm older. This is where the real shift happens. Instead of stressing over how to make a purchase work, whether it's cutting back somewhere else, picking up extra hours, or taking on debt, you should start thinking about whether the purchase is even worth it in the first place. It's not about deprivation here. It's really about intentionality. People who stay in the paycheck to paycheck cycle often don't make this shift. They're continuing to make financial decisions based on immediate affordability rather than thinking about the long-term implications and aspects. Breaking out of this cycle simply starts the shift from can I to should I. And I want to mention here, I've just created another short form video as well too on this topic. And when you start looking at everything as an investment, you really start to, again, create this intentionality that we're talking about here. Like whether it's takeout from McDonald's, for example, or eating a healthy salad, chicken, whatever it might be, that's an investment. It's an investment in not only your physical well-being, but an investment with your money. And when you start thinking about purchases in this sense, not only are you uplifting your actual financial goals and financial health, but you will begin to see you will grow and develop way more than you've ever thought before as a healthier human being and individual. And that's just something that I love when you get your finances in order and this snap starts to happen as well too in different aspects and areas of your life. Man, I love this shit. This is why I do this. Off my rant. The next thing that happens when you do hit that 10K in savings is just a huge confidence boost. The first time I saw $10,000 in my bank account, it felt like I had unlocked a new level in life. Logically, is $9,999 that different than $10,000? Not really. It's just this single dollar difference, but mentally, it's a whole new ballgame. Adding that extra zero changes how you see yourself and your money. It felt like all the saving, discipline, and sacrifices I've made are finally paying off. And at this point in time too, you can utilize this as your winter arc and staying disciplined with your goals. For me, reaching that milestone created a tangible shift in how I manage my finances and my life. One of the first things that I noticed was the power to saying no. The discipline it took to save that $10,000 was no joke. And once I had it, I started kind of protecting it. When you've got a couple of months worth of living expenses saved up, you can prioritize yourself in ways you couldn't even before. You no longer feel like you need to say yes to every extra shift, overtime opportunity, just to keep your head above water. And it wasn't just about work, by the way. It's also applied to spending too. Suddenly, it was easier to say no to things I didn't really want or need, like impulse purchases or social events that didn't align with my goals. Instead, I could use that money to invest or grow my savings even further. But perhaps the most life-changing part, the freedom to take risks. As I'm sure you've heard, high risk, high reward. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every decision feels high stakes because the margins for error are so slim. There is literally no room for failure, which makes you hesitant to try new things. But once you have $10,000 saved, the scarcity mindset starts to fade. That cushion gave me the confidence to experiment. I started putting money into investments I've always been too scared to try. I explored side hustles I'd been curious about, but had never had the financial buffer necessarily to pursue. Knowing that I had this safety net made me less afraid of failing because even if things didn't work out, I wasn't putting my basic needs at risk. Reaching $10,000 wasn't just about the money, it is about the freedom, the security, the opportunities it creates. It proved to me that financial stability isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving and making choices that align with the life you want to build. $10,000 is not just this magical number, guys. It's literally a significant milestone because it often represents 2 to 4 months of living expenses for many people, maybe including you. It's a key step on the financial ladder that takes you from $10,000 to $100,000 to $1 million. And I know you can do it. Each step on this ladder is different with unique challenges and strategies. And people often say your first $10,000 is harder than saving that $100,000. But why is this the case? Starting from zero is the hardest. When you're building your first $10,000, you're likely working with limited income, minimal savings habits, and potential debt. There's a quote: the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And I'm going to explain why. Every dollar saved feels like a huge effort because you're learning how to budget, cut unnecessary expenses, and prioritizing saving for the first time. It's a mental and behavioral shift as much as it is a financial one. Reason number 2 is that compounding power kicks in later. And this is really where the rich get richer. At $10,000, compounding hasn't had much time really to work its magic. Investments grow slowly in the beginning, and most of our progress comes from actively saving money rather than your money actually making money. Once you hit that $100,000 and beyond, that power of compounding becomes a lot more noticeable. It has a snowball effect, it's accelerating your progress without requiring much of effort or lift from you. And reason number 3 is that systems and habits are already built by this time. And so when you're working towards your $100,000 or even $1 million, you've likely developed solid financial habits. You've figured out how to budget, automate savings, and invest consistently. The hardest part is building the discipline to actually save. That's already behind you, making it a lot easier for you to keep growing your wealth. Once you have your first $10,000 nest egg, you're actually able to save faster, and the numbers back it up. According to a study by T. Rowe Price, that's not me, that's somebody else. I don't know, somebody stole my name. I'm so corny, guys, sorry. Individuals with $10,000 or more in savings are able to save 30% faster compared to those with smaller savings. And while part of this might be true to differences in circumstances, for most people, myself included, once you hit that $10,000 milestone, saving becomes a lot more easier. It's not necessarily about how much you make, but about how much you keep. That shift in mindset, focusing on keeping and growing your money, changes everything. I've got something that could make saving even easier, a budget template that does it all for you. It helps you track your spending, spot where you're overspending, plan your debt payoff if you do have debt, and set up sinking funds for bigger goals, aka get that saving going on for things that you know are going to happen in the future, like you need to get new tires, or you have this trip to Costa Rica that's planned out because there's a wedding that you have to go to. It's fully customizable. You can tweak it to fit your financial needs. You can adjust the categories, focus on what matters most to you, and make it work for your lifestyle. I made this because personal finance is just that, personal. If you're ready to take control, check out the link in my description below to access the budget template. Another incredible shift that starts to happen when you start saving more and actively build your financial cushion is how it impacts your overall well-being. It can actually lead to a healthier and happier life. For starters, you might feel like you can afford to prioritize your health. This could mean signing up for that gym membership, trying weekly yoga or Pilates classes, or simply finding an activity that helps you feel good and supports your physical and mental health. The result, healthier, more energized versions of yourself, which also can mean you can potentially make more money considering how productive and happier you are. Saving more also means you can start investing in better choices for your lifestyle. For example, you might opt for a higher quality foods at the grocery store instead of always defaulting for the cheapest options. Maybe you'll invest in a better mattress or pillows to improve your sleep, something that's so crucial for overall health, but often overlooked when money is tight, which again, sleep affects how you're going to show up for the next day. And if you're trying to make more money and you're getting shit sleep, you really have to exert a lot of energy. You can see how all this kind of snowballs. When you don't have the financial capacity, these investments might feel like luxuries you cannot justify at that time. But once you're in a position to make these choices, you begin to see them as necessary improvements for your quality of life. And the best part, once you've experienced the benefits, you won't want to go back to sacrificing your health or well-being. It's a powerful motivation to keep saving and investing in you. We are all about financially thriving over here, not just surviving. So I'm going to share the rules that help me save my first $10,000, keep it, and create a system to repeat the process without making life extremely miserable at that time. And spoiler alert, you don't have to give up every single fun thing to do it. Let's keep it real here. You still want to live a good life. You know when people say cut the coffee, stop eating out, and basically cancel your entire social life? Yeah, no thanks. That stuff makes up like 5% of most budgets actually, and it isn't moving the needle that much. Sure, maybe dial it back for a hot minute when you're setting up your savings plan, but living like that forever, yeah, totally not the vibe. I save and invest every month, but I also make room for spending on things that make me happy because life's way too short to deny yourself of every little joy. So step number one here is knowing your numbers. First things first, grab your bank statements or pull them up digitally for the last 2 to 3 months. I want you to highlight everything here: your income, your essential expenses like rent, groceries, and bills, and the oops, I did it again impulse buys. Once you see where your money is going, subtract the essentials from your income. Whatever is left is your opportunity to save. If you're not manually tracking, check out my budget template in the description that will make the process so much smoother for you here. Step number 2, start small and stay consistent. Now pick a savings number that doesn't make you want to cry, whether that's $100, $200, even $50. The goal is to stick with it every single month. Make it automatic if you can, so the money goes straight into your savings before you even get the opportunity to touch it. It's paying yourself first, and trust me, you will thank yourself later. Step number 3, treat yourself. This is a really important part, but often gets overlooked by many financial experts. Here's where I think it gets really fun. I'm all about the balance. So take 5 to 10% of what you save each month and use it guilt-free on something you love or want to get. Save $200, cool. Spend $20 on boba or whatever your thing is. It's like rewarding yourself for being financially responsible. Plus, it makes saving feel way less like a punishment and more like a win-win scenario. Step number 4, celebrate the wins. Every $1,000 you save, for example, take 10% of it and splurge. Not just on anything that sets you back financially, but something that makes you feel like a treat that you've been eyeing for a little while, and it just like, I did it, I worked for this, I got it, boom. It keeps this momentum going and makes the process so much more enjoyable. Here's why I love this system though. When you've got savings stacked, spending becomes guilt-free. You know you've already handled your financial goals, so that dinner out or new pair of kicks is not going to wreck your entire future. That peace of mind is priceless. And honestly, it's what makes this whole saving game for me worth it. See, saving doesn't have to be all that doom and gloom, guys, with Priceless Tay over here. So make sure you hit that sub if you're enjoying this video. Stick with this, and not only will you hit your first $10,000, but you'll keep growing your bag and living your best life while you're at it. Now, if you want a more detailed breakdown of exactly how to save more money, check out this video here. one of these where I break down exactly what you should do when that paycheck hits. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more videos. They come out every single week. Leave some comments. What do you want to see? I am here to help and serve you. We want to thrive, not just survive in 2025. So if that's about you, leave a comment down below so we can address things that you're going through, and I'll see you next week. Peace.